Welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories, experiences of global leaders and providing some valuable leadership lessons. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers. He has also trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries. Our special guest for today's episode is Dr. Stephen Gan, CTO at Boost Digital Bank. With a distinguished career spanning over 18 years, Dr. Gan has navigated the intricate landscapes of global host software delivery, digital banking, and financial technology, leaving an indelible mark on each venture he undertakes. Under his guidance, Boost not only surpassed its targets but also forged strategic partnerships with industry giants like Huawei, Alipay Plus, and UPI. Dr. Gan's achievements extend to overseeing the business strategy development plan, obtaining regulatory approvals, and kickstarting the construction of the first homegrown digital bank in Malaysia.
And welcome to this episode on Leadership Matters. I am here with Dr. Stephen Gan, and he is a super leader who definitely does matter. Hi, Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hi, thanks, Avinash. Yeah, I'm good.
So, Stephen, you are in Malaysia right now?
Yes, I am.
Lovely, lovely. I'm in Bangalore. And I understand have you been to Bangalore?
Not really.
All right. You must visit sometime. Huh? So I was born in Bangalore. I live in Mumbai in India, and I travel all over the world. Malaysia, I came to years ago, many, many years ago. You're Chinese Malaysian.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. So, friends, we just heard Stephen's wonderful profile being read out to us. Stephen, would love to know from you a little bit about your journey and what you're doing in Malaysia right now. You've been all over the world. You're an expert in the digital banking field, and you've done something brilliant recently in Malaysia, something that you've been working on for a long, long time.
Yeah. So maybe let me
please share a little bit about what you've done to transform the digital banking landscape in Malaysia.
Yeah, maybe let me start it off some summaries, right? So I was in the global banks a long time ago. I've been through building banking products across the different continental in the world, right? So started off, I've been in US, in Florida Temple, and then in Vancouver, Canada, to basically build the new core banking system and also the account opening processes. And of course, then I'm back to Asia. I'm supporting Australia, Singapore, and few other markets in Asia to ramp up building a new product offerings, right? One thing that I wanted to, before I move on to what am I doing, if you are the premier kind of like elite customers, the one that actually built the real-time Forex transactions is actually done by me, which is leveraging on, we call the switch called GATS, G-A-T-S, right? So that's where now you can see globally how the differentiation of currency FX being moved towards in a real-time rate. That particular network is actually built by me. Started off in Malaysia as a pilot country, right? So long story short, yeah, thank you. So long story short, I was currently the CTO for a newly digital bank in Malaysia. So it was a 3 years journey. Started off when I came back to Malaysia, I was drafting the business plan to convince the central bank to build this digital bank and why we should be awarded, right? So fast forward, last 2 years in April, we actually managed to get the digital bank license award from our central bank out of 29 participants. So there are only 5 being awarded, right? We are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
congratulations, that's great.
Fast forward, we have actually started building the bank since last year, starting technically in August timeline, because we have to go through all the due diligence, risk assessments and whatnot. And we are now already published our public app So if you go through Apple Store, Google Play Store, you will see Boost Bank. You can basically download, just that we have not lifted the whitelisting user because we have not public launch yet. But we have actually opened up to all our alpha launch user, which is friends and families. And of course, we are working towards enabling more usership to join the bank and whatnot. So what is the differentiations between the traditional bank versus the digital bank that we are building? Number one, it is focusing towards the expansions of financial inclusion, meaning to say to help, especially those underserved, that they have no banking facilities, to give them an avenue to have the banking account, to make, for example, a simple bill payments, to pay off their electricity bills, the water bills. And of course, we wanted to stitch and hook this group of users into the wider group of ecosystem. It could be coming from the current retail customer basis. It could also coming from the SME basis. So I give you one use case example, right? Today, if I walk into any retailer stores and whatnot, I do not require to carry cash. So I can just use this bank app to scan and pay the QR payments, or even use their debit cards to contactless make payments. The transaction has gone through immediately in real-time basis, right? So these are one of the great use cases that we are pushing towards automating the entire banking facilities. On top of that, also driving digital cashless, paperless transaction for the nations.
Wow. So tell me something, Stephen. This is very interesting. But for me, as a non-banker, my mother is a banker. You know, she's been banker for 29 years. I do a lot of work. I do training programs and I do coaching for senior managers and top leadership people in different industries. One of them is banking industry. So some of the top banks in the world I do coaching for. But I don't understand banking as such. Apart from being a customer. And many of the bankers themselves say that the entire banking world has changed when it's gone digital. What I understand you just sharing right now is that you have all this exposure to setting up innovative digital banking practices all over the world, globally, but you've come to Malaysia and you've set this up for the first time here, which is over the process of the last 3 years. And Malaysia is different from, let's say, Hong Kong and the US and other places, primarily because you are serving the underserved or the underprivileged. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely.
So you're not only bringing in something new, you're helping the people who have never done, who never had this ease of banking before.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. That's the main objective of getting the expansions of financial inclusions here.
You were in HSBC before. This is called Boost. Is this what it's called?
Yes.
The app? All right.
Yeah, it's called Boost Bank.
Yeah. Boost Bank. Okay, that's great. Eh? Yeah. What gives you the boost as a leader, Stephen? What keeps you so boosted up in energy? How do you innovate? Okay. What makes you decide to do things that are different?
Okay, maybe this started off with my principle of life, which is passions of life. So I actually, whatever I do, I always challenge myself. I don't compete with others, but I keep challenging myself. So I started passion of life. That's my principle of life, right? So what happened is I started off in a very tech-savvy world where we are building, core banking systems and whatnot. And I challenged myself to move into business role, to steer the P&L of an organization, of a bank, right? And then after that, I was also challenged myself to take on a regional and global role to support all the continental in the world, right? So long story short, and of course now I came back, I bring in all the experiences and also what I've actually gained throughout all over the world, how the financial industries are working, back to Malaysia to build this bank, right? So my philosophy in life and also how my leaderships are is definitely I always give the bigger pictures to my team, right? Why? Because it's important to let the people to see the end state. Where are we heading to? And of course, there will be a lot of challenges roadblock throughout the journey itself. And that's where we find a way to unravel all these issues from time to time, right? But important thing is how we create the passions and also more importantly is the drive to create the value and purposes in life These are the mottos that I'm leading people towards, right? So I'm studying my master, and recently last year I graduated from my doctorate. And also the reason why is because I wanted to bring in the value not just from a career perspective, but foundationally from educations. Also, I wanted to create like a Stephen 2, Stephen 3, and so forth. It is like a role model setting for the next generation, creating path for sustainability and also for talent succession plan and whatnot. So these are some of my leaderships and also my principle of life.
I love that. I love that. I love that. As a family man, we were just talking before we switched on the recording. You have 3 children.
Yes. 2 daughters,
and
1 boy.
Kids, huh? The youngest is 3 years old, you said.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. What is it like? Is leadership also needed in personal life?
Yes, absolutely. I would say leaderships, when we call a leader, is always a two-way communications where we are not monotony into like a boss, you do what I said and I'm not, right? So at home as well, I have all the open conversation with my kids and my wife as well, right? Let me give you one example.
Your wife is the boss?
We are all equal in a way. We make decisions all together. Let me be very frank. Over the weekend, I actually bring my family out because my kids has just finished off their examinations, right? So I basically asked my kids, what next you wanted to pursue, right? So my daughter told me she wanted to try violin, right? So that's where I bring
what violin? Oh, beautiful.
Violin, yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
So that's where I'm also kind of like finding their interest and also wanted to embrace their perhaps their new knowledges and experience to them. So we have this conversation, and I bring her to one of the Yamaha music stores, right, to test up some of the violins. And this is how the communication work. And of course,
Beautiful.
at the end of the day, I always believe that experience will lead and guide one's battles, right? So the hard work, the knowledge and whatnot it go through comes with the experience. So it's good that we explore them across diversifications of all the instruments or any industries. Yeah.
Lovely. That's so nice. So Stephen, something is forming in my mind, which I normally do in my programs, is that I look at what is being said, and from that, see if we can derive some leadership lessons. And in order to remember that, I connected with the name of the person. So in your case, I've got something forming. Can I share that with you right now? Would you like to tell me something else about your life, something else about leadership? Congratulations on winning the Power Leader Global Award from White Page International. Congratulations on that. And on your doctorate and on your innovations and all the great things you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Avinash. Yeah.
How much of life is in your control and how much of life just happens is the question. Because from what we spoke about a little earlier, you remember, you said that because of COVID, the pandemic, you had to come back to Malaysia, and that was not something you really chose to do, or was it a choice? Because you had to spend time in quarantine during the Corona time. Traveling was difficult, personally it was very challenging. So you happened to come to Malaysia. So was that chance or was that choice? You sat down and created your, in 4 months, your 81 pages. What was the business plan? You remember you told me? What was that?
Yes.
For creating what you've done in Boost right now. So I want to understand your belief about destiny and decision, about choice and chance.
Sure. Maybe let me share with you in more details. So as you know, I was in Hong Kong since 2017. Okay, I moved my family there as well, right? So what happened is in 2019 there is an unwarranted protest happening in Hong Kong, right? So towards the end, December 2019, I have no choice. I moved my family back to Malaysia. The reason why is because the school are closed, and I don't want to explore my kids with all the violence. I'm sure you have seen it before.
Of course,
Where
we saw in the media, but we don't know how much is real these days.
It's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah. Right. So what happened is 2020 January, COVID-19 hits China and Hong Kong itself, right? So that's where throughout the entire 2020, I was back and forth Malaysia, Hong Kong for 6 times of quarantine, right? Of each time 14 days, 21 days, and whatnot, right? So this is really devastating. And of course, maybe let me share these real life painful processes I've been through. I was actually undergoing a gout attack towards my last day on quarantine.
You were undergoing a what?
Gout attack. Gout.
Okay, gout attack. Okay.
Right. So towards the last days of quarantine, okay, in my almost 30 plus years in my life, first time ever I call an ambulance, and I cannot get my friends and families to reach out to me because they would then deem as a connected party. They have to undergo the quarantine as well. Right. I suffers to go through the ambulance, through the hospital, and being quarantined in one room, going through all the tests to make sure that I'm COVID negative before they heal me. Okay, so this is actually the first trigger point. What makes me wanted to come back to Malaysia for good? Okay. Second point is I just told you I have a baby of 3 years old. Coincidentally, that in 2020 as well, I was actually my wife was actually showed me the good news that pregnant and whatnot, right? So my baby was born in November 2020. So that's where with all this, I have decided this is my choice, right? I have decided to move back to Malaysia for good, regardless because of this pandemic, quarantine, and I have a newborn. I have to help my family, my wife, right? So that's where it's my choice to come back to Malaysia for good. And this digital bank was, I would say, blessing from the sky and from the God, actually reached out to me after I've decided everything. Stephen, you come back, new on the spot. I need someone, bankers and whatnot, to help to set up the digital bank. And that's where I came into it, and until today.
Brilliant. What a lovely story. I got some powerful lessons. So I'm going to put it all together, Stephen. Do you have a pen and paper there, or are you very digital and you want to key it in your... do you have a notepad with a stylus over there? I'm going to give you something interesting. Maybe you write this down and then you tell me later how you like it.
Okay.
Stephen. Okay. Steven. I'm thinking of, what are the lessons? So the S, I would say, is for strategic. A leader must be strategic. How is Stephen strategic? Stephen is strategic because he combines the chance with the choice. Stephen is strategic because, it is about destiny happens. Things happen. There are many things that happen which are outside your control. COVID happened. Your attack happened. Your baby happened. Of course, there was a choice involved there. But when things happen, then after they happen, you make a choice. You don't just let them happen. Because you want to protect your family, you move to Malaysia. Because you were in Malaysia, you had a little time in the COVID time, so you sat down and made your plan about this digital innovation which will serve the underserved in Malaysia. So there is always decision after destiny, and that decision creates the new destiny. So decision, destiny, choice, chance, and the D that happens is this beautiful digital thing that you create and your dynamic leadership. That is S. You're a strategic man. That's a good lesson. T is technological, techno savvy. So in everything that you do to multiply the scale or the impact, you use technology. Brilliant. So today's leader must be strategic, must use tech, and E, I would say, what is this? Did I just see some
celebration?
How does that happen? Huh? This is Stephen. You're doing some magic there, huh? So the E, the E is, I would say E. You have to help me also, Stephen. I think E is enthusiasm, huh? Because your principle is the passion of life. So this passion of life is in the E, which is enthusiasm. Is it okay so far? Huh?
Yep.
The V, I would say, is for, I think, values. We have not discussed that yet, but from what I understand from you, there are some principles, there are some values, there are some pillars, that you live your life by. For example, one of the things I understand from your body language and what you expressed, family is very important to you. Secondly, contribution, serving is very important to you. Thirdly, integrating the needs of the people in your team, whether it is your child playing the violin, or whether it is your employee, you want to make them also happy and you want to integrate them. So I think these are all about values. Would you agree? You are very values oriented. Yeah. The other E, I think is entrepreneur. You think like an entrepreneur, Stephen. Even though I don't know what is your, you have worked in corporate jobs, very senior level, but I think that the biggest value that you deliver to your organizations, and you are a great asset, is because you think like a business person. You think macro. You go into details and you work out what is the end benefit for the consumer. So that's entrepreneurial mentality. And N, I don't know. Can you help me with N? What could N be for Stephen? I mean, I know, but I'm asking you. What else can we do for N? You're genuinely a nice person. But I would say probably N, I don't know, I'm asking you, do you believe in persistence? Never give up?
Yes.
Is that a good message to give? Do you have examples in your life when you don't give up?
A lot. I don't give up on my studies. I also don't give up on my careers, families, and whatnot. Yeah, a lot.
Okay, I got it. I got a very good N, and it came from our discussion. N is next level. Next level. You are a next level guy, Stephen. Because I remember you said earlier in the discussion, you want to always help people to go to their next. What is next you want to do? You want to help them to go to the next level. So whether it is from technology, you go to next level. Whether it is from managing your team, you go to next level. Or even for yourself. There is no need for you to do doctorate at this level, but you want to do it because you want to go to next level. Okay? From a career point of view, from a growth point of view, you need not have you're continuing your education, you're continuing your challenges, you're continuing your growth. Next level. There we got it, Stephen. How do you like that? These are the lessons.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So what was S?
Strategic, techno-savvy, enthusiasm, values, entrepreneurship, next level.
Superb. Okay. That's great. Huh? So lovely talking with you, Stephen. Congratulations on everything you're doing. And we should be in touch.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Avinash. Good to see you today.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Take care. Bye-bye.